You're watching Soccer Night in Detroit.
Welcome. It's me, Hannah Crum, with two legends.
Okay, me, Steve.
And Mad Cat.
And Mad Cat.
This guy right here. Every time you score, he has to play this song for you every time, every single time.
David, he appears. I believe in Derek.
Let's go. Well, what do you say about coming into 2026 like a lion? You figure all's going to be nice and quiet, normal, and then some, Chelsea player or former Chelsea player decides to, attack Venezuela. It's become a mess, and we've had a wild start to 2026 so far.
I gotta tell you, originally we were going to plan talking about one firing, and then there was Black Monday, where two important clubs announced, oh my, let's get this out of the way first, because if you've been watching our show, considering that me and him are now supporters of Chelsea, the main team in Scotland. I've been late to the party. I've been fans too. Thanks to your support of Chelsea, and not only that, Gil Scott Heron, who once played there, but holy man, Chelsea has been a mess. They fired their head coach because of different appearance with the board, and they appointed Martin until they get a new manager. And then they got William Nancy, who coached successfully for a long time for the Columbus Crew. And everything was going to be hunky-dory, hopefully, to battle against Hearts and Rangers. Well, not quite as planned. They have lost 6 of their last 8, including a Europa League match, elimination from the Scottish Cup, and then the bottom fell out Saturday against their longtime rival Rangers. They lost 3-1 in not the best form at all. And my partner, Madcap Peel, posted this tweet on social media. This is forking embarrassing. Sack Nancy, sack the board. This is not Celtic football. I almost said Chelsea, but this is not Chelsea Porto. Well, Monday, they got their wish. Well, one half of it. William Nancy was sacked after 33 days. Oh my, embarrassing. So, Mad Cat, you're a fan of Chelsea. I'm going to be quiet. As they say on the old Fox 2 show during the 10 o'clock news, let them rip. What do you think about the whole thing?
Well, you said something. You kept mentioning Chelsea, but you're mentioning things about Celtic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chelsea. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
I let you go there. Like I said, it's all come together. But let's get Sir Rod Stewart's little reaction to what happened on Black Monday.
He's gone! He is gone! Wilfred Nancy has been fired, or he left, I don't care. He's just not at Celtic. Now, we face Dundee at the weekend. I'm going to be up there for this game, mate. Don't you worry. We need Martin back. We need you back, Martin O'Neill, to get us through the end of the season, and maybe we could get Robbie Keane. That would be heaven sent. Right now, I'm going down the pub to celebrate.
Yeah, so I echo the sentiments of that, and because I am glad that they did what they did and fired him. I mean, Nancy wasn't. How do I say this? His coaching style wasn't suitable for Celtic Football Club. It may have worked at MLS. It may have worked elsewhere. It wasn't suited for the players that he has at Celtic. Definitely wasn't suited for the players that he had at Celtic. And they suffered for it. Winning only 2 out of 8 games, 33
Both of
days.
them league games. Both of them league games.
I mean, the thing is, it's just the fact that, and I'll have to go back to this. I'm gonna, go on the fly here, going on Chat GPT, but yeah, as I mentioned, you know, like I said, his style is not um suitable for Celtic at all because you look at what O'Neill brought to the table in his interim. Um, they did decent. They did pretty well. They actually won a couple games. They lost a couple in the process as well. And then you figured he was going to be the caretaker of the club, going into it. And he obviously was the caretaker going into it, prior to the new coach. But needless to say, it's just been it's been turmoil since December 4th, basically. Poor results, obviously. 6 out of 8 games in the championship. Losing to Rangers on Saturday. His tactics and team performance have been widely criticized by supporters like like myself, like Rod Stewart, as we were mentioning. And it's just, like I said, I mean, this was a poor decision by the board. Overall, poor decision by the board. And the fact is, the way Dermot Desmond and this board's running it, I think they're running it with a blind eye. And we're going to be talking about this amongst these firings here coming, as we're going along.
Yeah, I would like to say he was a success in MLS, but wasn't equipped for European football.
Absolutely
European
not.
football is a
Absolutely
totally
not.
different beast than what you see in MLS.
Absolutely not. I agree because the thing is, if you adapt, you got to learn to adapt to the style of football. American soccer is not the same as English football or UK football or European football or whatever it is. You cannot apply the same tactics that you did at one. They're not really interchangeable. Let's just put it that way. Especially for the type of game it is, and when you're starting to fall behind to the likes of a Rangers or a Hearts or a Dundee United, you start falling to clubs like that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And that's what Wilfred Nancy did. And you hate for the guy to end up leaving his gut, but it was just the wrong choice at the wrong time.
Big time wrong choice. He should have stayed at Columbus, who almost about to announce their
They should
new
have
head
kept Martin O'Neill till the end of the year.
Yes, he's now the caretaker manager, or as we like to say, interim manager for the rest of the entire year.
Yeah, they basically should have kept him till the end of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Instead of finding somebody, I mean, give it up to Nancy. Great opportunity for him after obviously winning the title here in the States with Columbus Crew, but I wouldn't say it's an FAFO situation, but he kind of did a lot of FAing down there in Celtic Park, and he did find out quick it ain't gonna work, especially in the Scottish Premier League, and especially playing in Europa League as well, where they had a dismal outing in that as during his tenure.
You're right, and they're still in it with only 2 games left to get into the group of 24.
Yeah, and I mean they need to. Yeah, they definitely need to do that. But
it's been a total mess, and you could tell because there was protests outside Celtic Park. Not everybody was not happy. Mostly the board.
Oh yeah, they've been going after the board. I mean, the board has been making some asinine decisions. Asinine decisions as of late. Obviously, one of them being, the shall we say, the banning of the Green Brigade, the primary supporters group for Celtic Football Club.
Oh my!
not letting them into the stadium. Obviously, it stemmed from probably an incident, an isolated incident that you know, how the one bad apple. You know the saying, "One bad apple spoils the bunch."
Yes, it was sung in a classic Michael Jackson song or the Jackson 5 song.
Yeah, I think it was was it Jackson's or was it Osmonds?
I think with the Jackson, maybe both. Who
I
knows?
think it
They
might have
were
been the
covered.
Osmonds.
You know how that goes.
I think it might have been the Osmonds. But anyway,
Okay.
one isolated incident, and then next thing you know, the the supporters group is banned
Oh
from
my.
attending games at Celtic Park
Uh huh.
and elsewhere in the Scottish Premier League. So
Oh my.
like I said, there's been all kinds of contention and all kinds of friction between the board and and the Celtic faithful.
I know, and as you probably know, I did see one Celtic matchup when they clinched the title for the 55th time last year. There was a little protest when they raised prices on the admission, and they threw color soccer balls on the field. I
I
remember
remember
that.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So this has been contention,
You
and
thought things were bad last year at Keyworth.
oh yeah. We didn't throw soccer balls on the field. Thank God for that, because we
Yeah,
keep it tame.
yeah, we kept it a little bit more civil,
So,
and everything seemed to work out in the discourse. But yeah, needless to say, it's just been like I said, the whirlwind for the last few days has been
and I
what's
want to bring this quote because every time that an American show try and fail, it reminds me of the Don Garber quote when they got David Beckman. He predicted by 2030 they could be one of the top league of the world. No knock on Nancy. He did what he did, but after his flame out at Celtic, I'm not sure if I want to call MLS the top league of the world. Although they switched the calendar, they got more famous players and all that and all that. But are they still top or nowhere near it? Because it's
it's
always going
still
to
a
be
top 15 league.
okay.
It's not it's still it's not like it's the best in the world. You think they're going to go that route? They're going to shy away from it for a little while. I'll tell you that much right now.
Uh
But
huh.
it's just the fact that, I mean, is it a black eye for the league? I'm not
No,
saying it is or not. I'm
I
not.
don't
I'm
think
not
it is the
really.
black of the league. You know what I mean? He took an
Yeah, because
opportunity.
I'm sure.
Didn't work out after 33 days.
Yeah, because I'm
Rookie,
sure.
20
I'm sure
days.
there's a lot of great coaches that are in MLS, and it's one thing too. It's not a manager's decision. It's not a manager's. Nobody's a manager anymore.
No.
Now we go into the next situation. Let's
Oh,
go.
are you talking about the other firings in the world's most famous league, the UK Premier League? Considering that two of the teams are battling out for Europe, and
Yeah,
oh my,
let's start off. I mean, he kind of shall we
jump
say,
the gun.
not buried or teased it a little. We'll just say teased it a little bit.
I know it was
Talk,
my brain about Chelsea, Celtic. What the difference? I don't
confusing
know.
Chelsea with Celtic, but actually, what
My
happened
bad.
with
My bad.
actually what happened at Chelsea though was Enzo Maresca parted ways with the club on New Year's Day. And the separation was described as a mutual decision with both sides agreeing that a change was best for the season's prospects. Now, earlier in the month, in December, he said something about being the worst 48 hours of his life. So something had to have gone down.
What do you mean? In between games, or
No,
because you know?
between the Celtic hierarchy, or no, here I go, it's confusing. Between Chelsea's hierarchy and and Maresca, because there's relations within the club's hierarchy include disagreements on player fitness, protocols, and internal decision making. So basically, he's being told what to do from the bosses upstairs at Blue Coat.
Oh my. Oh my. And he couldn't handle it anymore. He said, all right, we're still in the top 5. I'm out.
The form, they had won one of their last 7 Premier League games before the split.
Yikes.
So a lot of, like I said, a lot of it is Todd Bowley, who, yes, he is also the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
So yeah, multi-sport owner. But as I said, as I mentioned, he publicly hated the worst 48 hours of the time in charge, and a lot of it had to do with the, shall we say, micromanagement from the top.
Oh my.
Whether it be medical staff, whether it be ownership over there, it's like they're not letting Maresca do what he needs to do to win games. And this is a guy that had won the Conference League and the Club World Cup.
Yeah, that was 6 months ago. Literally.
Yeah.
And now he's jobless.
So
literally.
Yeah, he said in his first statement after leaving, Maresca said he leaves with inner peace and thanks the fans and players for their support and achievements together. Now, Celtic did not go far as getting their next manager.
Yes, they announced it yesterday. Liam Rosal. He agreed to the job and signed him to a 6-year deal up until 2032. He is the 5th manager since the old ownership was forced to sell the team. There's been 5 managers. How successful will this be after what we just witnessed?
Here's the caveat with this one. Guess where he came from?
Where did he came from?
Strasbourg.
Oh, and
He's
guess what?
also
owned by the same owner.
Yes. Now, I'm going to look out Strasbourg right now. I believe they're in what do you call it? They're in League One. So I'm going to check out the standings there. Strasbourg currently right now has played 17 games, won 3, drawn 3, lost 7 at 24 points. They're sitting in 7th in the table.
Right?
They're outside of the positions right now for, I believe, European qualification.
That's Germany, right? Or
no, this is in France.
Okay, all right.
This is in France.
Uh-huh.
So their current form as of late. 3 wins and 2 draws.
Wow.
So, and of course, and like I said, the connection there, as I mentioned, the connection there. Guess who owns them? Blue
The same owner. Yeah, the same owner who owns Chelsea, who also owns the LA Lakers. I mean Dodgers.
And they own the Lakers too.
Oh yeah, they bought them for $10 billion. Oh my.
Yeah, guess who also owns the LA Lakers?
Who?
Detroit Pistons.
I saw that game last week. That was a dominating performance.
That was awesome. I'm going to the game against OKC.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a fun one.
Finals all over it, but let's get back to Chelsea.
Yeah, let's get back to it. But like I said, it's just another case of, the board or the ownership group meddling in when they're not supposed to. And you're seeing a lot of this right now in the world of football because usually when you have a manager, he takes care, he brings in the players that he needs, he brings in the scheme that he needs to provide success. Usually the board will go along with it and let them cook.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
No, they want results like they're like you mentioned, the Pistons or OKC or the Lakers, although American sports and European sports, especially soccer, are
going back to the Pistons. Back to the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
Remember for so many years, Tom Gores pretty much made some of the decisions with his buddies like Arm Tellem and all that, trying to make. I mean, he had Joe Dumars around, but he was, I mean, to be fair, the last years of the Davidson ownership, you know, they pulled the purse strings shut, and he wasn't able.
Literally.
Yeah, that he wasn't able to purchase talent, and then it still lingered on when Gores took over ownership of the club. He kept Joe Dumars around, but it still wasn't working out for him.
And he went to the NBA front office, people. So now these days they got the number one player.
But the
although
thing,
it was a little touch and go. Kid was injured with a calf injury, and now they've gone from one of the most embarrassing teams to one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference in almost 2 years. Just like that.
Why? You know why?
Why?
After several years of trying to mess with the pot a little bit or whatever it was, try to do his little thing, he just sat back and started throwing money at things. Monty Williams, he bought him out.
Yeah, that bomb.
Instead of meddling with things, he let basketball guys do it.
Yeah, J.D. Bickerstaff and the front office, yeah.
Yep, Trajan Langdon. He tried to do it with, I think, I'm trying to think, Troy Weaver. He tried to do it with Troy Weaver. That wasn't successful, but Trajan Langdon has been a godsend to this club.
Tell me about it.
And it's much in the way he just let it flow instead of bringing influence into himself. Bringing influence himself into the product, which made it a bad thing. Lots of bad decisions were made. The closing of the Palace, moving downtown to Detroit. He ran it like a private equity firm.
Yeah, because Tom Gores came from, guess where? Private equity.
Exactly.
That's just been a curse, literally.
Exactly. And that's
Tell me why there's no more Kmart. Tell me why there's no more Borders. Tell me why there's no Toys R Us, for God's sake. Because it was run to the ground by private equity. I'll mention Joanne Fabric also runs around private equity. You know what I mean?
And guess what's being run by? Guess what runs Chelsea right now?
Private equity.
You got it.
I know the curse. I know.
Yep, exactly. And right now, like I said, they're trying to run a football club, and they're not letting the right people do it.
No.
Speaking of not letting the right people do it, let's move up north to Manchester.
Yeah, the second firing on Black Monday. This is soccer, not NFL. There are now 7 coaches in the NFL. But let's get to Manchester United, where, guess what? The pink slip happened.
This club, I swear to God, ever since Alex Ferguson left back in, 2013 or whatever it is, it has not been good. I mean, I think Mourinho won a title with them. I want to say he did.
Yeah.
But, this club, it's, I don't know. There's a reason why we say Manchester is blue. Because this organization's in shambles.
Tell me about it.
This organization is in shambles, I tell you.
At least he knows how to win with pride, including the playoffs. You know who I'm referring to. But Manchester United, oh my God, they almost got rock bottom. They finished 17th place last year. Like I said,
lost to Tottenham in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
And given what's going on at Tottenham, we'll save that for another episode. But given what's going on at Tottenham too, it's just the fact that you lose to Tottenham, and the problem with Amorim was, and we said this earlier in the season, he was dead set on bringing that 3-4-3 into fruition. The players did not want that.
Oh my.
They're more of a 4-back system over there. So they rather have like a 4-3-3 rather. 4 in the back, 3 midfielders, three forwards. They rather have that instead of what he was trying to implement, which is a 3-4-3. Much of the way, we're kind of swaying towards that here in Detroit, in a way. If you notice, notice with the retirements and whatnot. However, his reluctance to play a 4-back system has resulted in many of United's bad results.
Oh yeah.
It resulted in a loss to Grimsby Town.
Yes, in the FA Cup.
In the Moose Cup.
Moose Cup. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, 14 months. It was inconsistent. The form's been inconsistent for this club.
Yeah.
Right now they're sit.
Last week. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say right now in the Premier League, they are sitting. Trying to get to home here. Hold on here a sec.
Yeah, and last week
right,
of all people, Wolves, who set the record for least points before the Christmas break.
Exactly. So right now in the Premier League, Man United sits in 6th. Chelsea, we just discussed, lies in the lies in the 5th position. So right now, which is probably could be the final Champions League spot, could be the Europa League spot. All depends on the what goes down at the end of the year with the I can't think of it right now. The coefficient. That's what it is. All depends on what goes on in the coefficient right now. They're not, but they've been below the top 10 earlier in the year. It's just inconsistency going on with there.
Yeah, they got an extra lifeline by going unbeaten in 5 games, 3 wins and 2 draws. But brother, and then it came to a head on Saturday, where after I don't think was another loss, the manager Amron, I don't know.
Well, here's basically what happened there. Amarim's public criticism of the club hierarchy, notably telling them to do your jobs and stressing that he wanted to be manager, not head coach. We were talking about this earlier with Chelsea. Manager, not head coach. And we're going into more of that realm. Where where like the sporting director dictates things instead of the manager himself.
And the board was not happy to hear it. And then when I woke up on Monday morning, scrolling through Facebook and Instagram, it happened. He was let go, becoming the 6th manager. The 6th manager since Sir Alex, who left to be head coach. Sir Alex was there for 25 years. In the last 12, 13 years, they went for 6 coaches. Oh my!
And it's been a revolving door at Old Trafford.
Oh my!
Ever since,
can
you count? I was gonna say, can you count the managers that have been around since that have been going in and out the door over at Old Trafford since Pep has been at Manchester City?
A lot. I said 6.
Yeah.
Not counting caretaker managers, but it's kind of embarrassing ever since.
It is embarrassing.
It is
embarrassing. And there's a guy that's on Talk Sport that had that talks about the DNA of the United fan. I'm going to play that right now.
Okay.
What is Manchester United's DNA? Let me tell you. It's waving Norwich scarves in the air after every loss. It's not getting a haircut until 5 wins in a row. It's losing a European final to Tottenham Hotspur.
It's just who we are, mate.
It's firing staff to save money, only to sack managers and rack up a bill of over £30 million. It's having Mark Goldbridge screaming in his mom's basement. Oh no!
No!
It's It's having a stadium that is falling down. It's every former player having their own bloody podcast. It's asking what would Fergie do. It's increasing ticket prices for kids. It's losing 7-0 to Liverpool.
7!
It's packed lunches for your staff. It's shouting, attack, 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 when you sit back against bottom of the league sides. It's hiring former players to cover up the mess at the club and calling it returning to our DNA. And one final one, Alan. It's teams doing a double over you season after season. What a joke. A laughing stock of a football club. The end.
Some funny things to go with that. I mean, a little humor and all that. But it's been a dreadful time. It's been a very dreadful time to be a Man United supporter, especially since 2013. And it's just the fact that, you go through, obviously, dealing with the Glazers and their mismanagement of the club. Now Jim Ratcliffe's in there and doing the same thing, mismanaging the club to the point where, who knows what's going to happen down the road. Is he in there because, is he the caretaker owner until somebody else comes in and straightens out the ship a little bit,
I know. I feel bad for the Manchester fan. I have to watch into drama year after year and all that. Especially one fan. You probably heard about this. I never mentioned this until now. There's a fan. I can't remember his name. He's a diehard Manchester United fan. And 2 years ago, he said, "I will keep growing my hair until they win 5 in a row." It's now been almost
that was mentioned
2
in that.
years.
It was mentioned in that little clip there I just shared.
Yeah, it's now been almost 2 years. He have grown it to one of the most ridiculous messy hairs ever. He recently got his hair straightened out. You know what I mean? Like, he came close. You know what I mean? He came close. They won 3 in a row, but a draw don't count as a win, sort of. Oh my. I wouldn't do growing out your hair because during the pandemic, when my hair grew out because there was no hairdressers allowed, it got into the mouth. Come on.
I mean, fans go through extremes like that. Like, what are I was going to say, when was the last time they won 5 games in a row under Ten Hag?
I don't even remember. Do you know?
I'm gonna take a look at it right now. So let me see here. Let's look at their matches here. The last time they have won 5 in a row.
That's wins, not draws or ties.
Right. Or losses, yeah. Not draws or losses. Last time they won 5 in a row. I'm scrolling. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. Loading.
You're not using ChatGPT, right?
I am using FotMob.
Okay.
I know, ChatGPT probably be a lot quicker. I'm all the way back now and still haven't seen anything. Let's see. 2024. Let's see.
Few moments later.
All right. From January 28th to February 18th, 2024. Nearly 2 years.
My. The same thing, that guy started growing his hair. Oh, my.
Yeah, that was the last time Manchester United had won 5 games in a row.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
That's so ridiculous. Yeah, with everything going on, they're not the top team in the world. They're supposed to be back as the top team in the world, but honestly, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, some reports highlight tactical rigidity and internal tensions.
Oh my!
And assistant staff has spoken publicly since the sacking, and there's a player management chatter following the dismissal as well. But the thing is, the names that are coming out of, obviously, Manchester United being a huge, huge job. Names coming up, obviously the usual suspects are involved in this one, but a couple names that, kind of, let's see, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being one of them. Probably as a
That's a name
caretaker
pop
manager.
out a lot.
Darren Fletcher is has been named interim manager of United right now while they go through this process to find a caretaker manager until the end of the year. A couple names popped up.
Who?
Let's just say a couple names that are participating in the World Cup this summer.
Oh, that World Cup coming up in June,
Yes.
right?
Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, Carlos Ancelotti, all have, let's just say they're a little busy right now.
Yeah, real busy. Yeah.
Coaching, USA, England, and Brazil, respectively. They can't get those names until the summer.
Yeah,
I understand. I think Tuchel's contract's up after this World Cup.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Pochettino's is as well. Not sure about Ancelotti.
Yeah, and you mentioned who they're managing in the World Cup. Those three most frequent names: USA, England, and Brazil.
Yep.
Down my hierarchy. You know what I mean? To support.
Well, I wouldn't say hierarchy because obviously England's definitely one of the top 5 teams in the world.
I know.
And that's the thing. Obviously Manchester United, that's a big club, and you're going to get the big names coming out of that big club.
Yeah.
And and I'm thinking to myself, I'm hearing these names, it's like, okay, aren't these guys a little bit busy with something else right now?
You got that right. They are busy. Yes, preparing for the World Cup.
Why even mention them at this point? I don't care if the job happens that, they're not going to have time from July till August to figure things out.
You're right. They're busy. And remember, the new season begins a month after the World Cup. So
exactly,
you get ready afterward. There's not much time, for God's sake.
There's not much time to figure things out. What players you want, what players you don't want. What system you're going to instill on these guys. You gotta have somebody that's going to have all their ducks in a row going into this thing. When they hired Ange over at Tottenham Hotspur, that was after he was done at Celtic. He only had 2 months to prepare them to play in Premier League play last season. Thomas Frank, same way. After he was sacked, I'm sure he had a couple months to prepare Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
So coaches need time to prepare.
You're right about that.
Prepare their tactics, prepare their schemes. You can't just say, okay, 1 month, would you like the Man United job? I'd be like,
okay.
Are you kidding me? It's like throwing Wilfred Nancy to the wolves like they did in Parkhead.
Yeah, I know. And not only that, it's a manager of a top flight UK team or a European team is a full year job. Literally. There's no stopping. You know what I mean? Unlike the U.S. sports system where they play about a good 6 months and then 2 months for the playoffs. You know what I mean? And then rest. It's a full-time job. It is.
It is. It's absolutely a full-time job because it's just, you got to be concentrating on that. And the thing is, each of the clubs that I mentioned have a board that meddles in their affairs. Whether it be Celtic, whether it be Chelsea, whether it be Man United, Man City can pretty much run itself.
You're right.
And they're a top club in the world. They're one of the top clubs in the world. Real Madrid can pretty much run by itself.
What about Barcelona?
They used to be able to with Ancelotti at the helm.
What about Barcelona?
Barcelona's another one of those clubs.
Same thing with PSG.
Yep. You know,
I know.
you get the right man in there, the club can pretty much run itself.
I agree.
You know, Liverpool is another one too. You get the right man in there, the club can pretty much run itself. You look at what Klopp did, what Arnie Slot. Yeah, he's had his struggles this year. Now he's getting them back into the top four and all that stuff. So now that that storm has passed. But you get the right guy in there, the club can pretty much run itself.
Yes.
So needless to say, it's just been like I said, the last week has really been a whirlwind as far as coaching changes go.
There was one more coaching change that also happened this week. Not big like those three names I just mentioned. The manager for West Ham United was also let go, sacked after losing to Nottingham Forest. Oh, wait a minute, not Nottingham Forest. Excuse me, Nottingham. Sorry, my brain is on freeze. They lost to Nottingham Forest yesterday, and then the game before, guess who they lost to? Wolves.
Yeah, I'm going to Chat GPT as far as that goes. I don't have a graphic for him like I had fancy one. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So this is breaking news then.
Oh, breaking news on our show?
This is breaking news. Nuno. I heard that the board was going to stick with him because this is what they're saying.
All right.
So this is where did you hear this?
You mean are you talking about the West Ham manager?
Yes.
I read it somewhere. I don't know where, but
Well, they've been talking about that.
Yeah.
And they just had their game yesterday. So
they lost to Nottingham Forest. You remember? Yes. I read something. He was let go, but I presume he's still staying, right?
Yeah. Right now, they haven't. Nothing's been official as of yet. Let's just put it that way.
It was my bad. It was my bad. So
yeah, but you know what? It could be breaking. Who knows? The way things fly around in football nowadays.
Okay. Let's get to the standings. Who are the top 7 for Europe and Championship and all that?
Well, okay. So we go back here. Arsenal's on top by 6 right now over Man City. Aston Villa sitting at 42 as well. Liverpool, as I mentioned, into the top 4. I did mention Chelsea in 5th, Man United in 6th, and Brentford in 7th right now.
This is going to be a very interesting title race after all the silliness that have happened over the last week.
And my concern, obviously, for Man City right now, we lost 2 back players. Diaz out with an injury, and Vardiar. Yeah. How do I say his name? Vardial out with a broken leg, broken tibia.
Eesh.
Out for the 6 months. Now they're looking at a couple of defensive players, from what I understand. Semenyo, one of those players coming from I believe it was Bournemouth. They're finalizing that deal, as we said, and then there's another guy. I believe he's coming from Crystal Palace, American, I believe it is. I can't think of his name offhand.
I can't think of his name offhand.
I think it was So in right now in talks, but they're talking here. Yeah. So Vardial undergoes surgery on a tibial fracture. Ruben Diaz out 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury, and John Stones is nowhere to be found. He's been sidelined with numerous injuries. So, much in the way Celtic has had issues with their backfield, Manchester City's having the same thing as well. So, but yeah, the last couple games they drew against Sunderland and they drew against Chelsea and their caretaker manager. I believe it was Seth MacFarlane that was the caretaker manager.
That's the Family Guy.
Well, that's what Tom Reddy was saying. I got a kick out of that when I was listening to that on the football show.
Yeah. After almost listening to almost a half hour of managers getting sacked, signed, news, and
Let's
all
get
that.
let's talk about our little league and our little problem.
Yes, the USL is going into a bargaining session with the players' union on Thursday, and there was a good article by ESPN talking about the issues and like that. Now, you mentioned earlier on Saturday they are making some progress and all that. So, what's the deal? I'm not versed into this whole labor thing, but you've been following it. You interviewed the executive from the Players Association a couple of weeks ago. You saw that. But what is the update, if any, about what's going on? Are they close?
Well, right now it seems like there's still a few how do you say it? There's still a few um, things to be figured out here as far as that situation goes. A lot of it has to do with obviously the healthcare and all that's obviously the healthcare being a major issue. They've also, obviously player salaries being a main issue as well. They want to, they want to raise the minimum salary from where it is. I think it's at like 38,000 or something like that. They want to raise that higher as well. Another issue is I looked at that article from Jeff Carlisle from the from ESPN.com. Main issues are focused on compensation and benefits for players at the lower end of the pay scale. Sources said the union and the league have agreed on implementing a standard contract length of 12 months instead of the 10 months stipulated by the previous CBA. This has been a sore spot for the USLPA, given that professional soccer is essentially a year-round job. Another issue is being negotiated, as I mentioned, is the health insurance for the players. The previous CBA did not mandate that for clubs providing health insurance, though 80% of the clubs have opted to do so. According to sources, league and the union have agreed that some form of insurance should be offered by every team, but the USL wants a standardized health insurance policy across the USL Championship, while the league wants it to be at the discretion of the individual clubs. Obviously, of some of the, like I said, there's some that are, better off, and then there are some that are not so well off. And probably those clubs are, probably those are the clubs, that's what they want to, I think that's what the OSLPA is getting at, is trying to make it comfortable for everybody. As you remember, the USL itself is a separate entity from the clubs that play in it.
That's kind of weird.
It is a weird situation. Yes, they have a board of governors and they all meet and all that stuff, but the league office is separate from the clubs itself.
Wow.
Hence why we have the situation that we do now. Instead of it's more of the, how do you look at it? We were talking about it. A real estate arm, a sanctioning arm, whatever it is. It's a house. It's like, hey, you want to come to this league? We could.
Come in.
Come on in. It sounds like the old the monorail principle.
From The Simpsons?
Yes.
I know. I built a monorail in Shelbyville, North Haverbrook, and Ogdenville, and they fell apart. So
remember that little line there when Peter Wilt started NISA?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Oh my.
But that's the thing here. The league office is a separate entity from the clubs themselves. That's the whole kit and kabang right there. Yeah. And to make, the thing is, what the USLPA wants, they want the league office to mandate that these clubs function with professional league standards.
Uh-huh.
So, right now, under the current rules, if a player is injured in a game or practice, they must file a workman's compensation claim with the state where they reside. So say not so much here in Detroit. So say like somebody in Loudon gets injured, they'd have to file a claim with the state of Virginia.
Uh-huh. So let's say Ben Morris got injured last year in practice. They have no right to file a workman comp issue here in Michigan,
Well,
right?
here's the thing. I think I think we're well taken care of as far as that goes.
Okay.
I honestly think we are. We're probably one of those clubs that are better off. We're agreeing to everything as far as what the what the players want. So I think everything's fine here in Detroit City.
Okay.
We're not one of those clubs that are. Let's just say we're one of those clubs. We're not Lexington out by any means. We're not Louisville by any means. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But we're well off.
Yeah.
We're
All
one
right.
of those well off clubs.
Okay.
So, but I gave Loudon as an example because we've heard of the struggles that were going on over there.
You're right, all because of the past ownership run by DC United, and yeah, that was a horror story that they had to watch their own kids,
And they're still recovering from it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they're still trying to figure out. Ryan Martin is no longer a coach there.
I see. He went to the West Coast in Oakland,
Yeah, he went
right?
to Oakland roots.
He took his talent to Oakland.
Yeah, yes, he did. So until a new CBA is agreed upon, and ratified by both parties, the league has continued to operate under the terms of the previous CBA both in terms of contract length and health insurance. Multiple sources showed contracts that don't include health insurance, and they also include you see a rash of 1-year deals and stuff like that going on as well, because this is what the league wants to have. I believe they want to build up this thing. It sounds like the league wants to build up this thing. I'm trying to scroll through here as far as that goes. So right now, until the okay, so that's okay. Clubs are free to issue 2026 player contracts under existing terms without the baseline professional standards that are still being negotiated, the USLPA said in a statement to ESPN. As a result, 1/5 of the championship clubs are still executing contracts that do not include any options for health insurance, and roughly half of the 2026 contracts we've reviewed are terms for shorter than 12 months. Hence, like I said, the 1-year deals that we've been seeing floating around as of late. USLPA added that operating under the status quo underscores the real immediate impact of these negotiations. And obviously, another sticking point, the compensation. I mentioned that they operated under the previous CBA operated under a 2-tier structure for the players on the low end of the pay scale. Teams could sign up to 6 players to a flex minimum contract paying $26,000 over the course of a season, a number that can include salary, bonuses, health insurance, and a housing allowance. Other players can be signed to what was called a contract minimum of $31,000 per season. The current negotiations have the league just offering a 20% increase from the contract minimum, which would amount to $38,000 a year. The USLPA is asking for a 40% increase to $43,400 per season. I mean, is that too much to ask?
No.
Basically, I made $39,000 at one of my jobs last year.
Okay. Well,
so basically, the minimum contract of a USL player, they want at $38,000 a year.
Wow.
That's no more than what I'm making as a dairy clerk.
I see.
Yeah. And to play 10 months out of the year, and you're given a 10-month contract, basically.
Okay.
To play at 38, to play the same wages as a grocery clerk at Meijer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You think these players deserve to be paid more?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same arguments we're saying WNBA players who have been played far, far, far less for the last couple of decades, and now they're saying, hey, they're more their worth than, let's say, 55,000 like Caitlin Clark earned in her rookie year. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember, Caitlin Clark gets a lot of endorsements as well,
Oh yeah, it's
which we'll
endorsements
be
and
getting. Let's get to on the next caveat of this deal.
NIL, name, image, and likeness. We have heard it all over college sports, but yeah, because like I said, I have not seen any players get endorsed to do endorsements in their local area. I haven't seen any Detroit City players get endorsed product on commercials, you see, but
Yeah, latest obstacle surrounds the licensing of player image and likeness rights. In the current CBA, USLPA receives $25,000 from the league for licensing. This time around, the union is asking for $600,000, which is on par with what players in the PWHL receive. The league wants to limit that amount to $125,000.
The PWHL, I should mention, is the Women's Professional Hockey League.
Correct.
Yes, who just had a takeover game at the Pizza Dome, aka Little Caesar Arena, last week.
Yep.
I wasn't there because I was in another section of town watching a soccer game, but
Yeah, well, yeah, Saturday night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I was there too.
I know.
But yeah, name engine. I mean, name engine likeness. This is like, okay, you know about eFootball.
Yes.
USL on their broadcast advertises it heavily.
Yes.
You could choose players from USL clubs on eFootball,
including Detroit City FC.
Exactly. So yeah, name, image, and likeness is a big deal, especially this is professionals and all that stuff. You're talking $600,000. That's for a league. Let's just say where everything is funneled into the league, whether it be television contracts. A lot of this stuff is not filtered out to the clubs.
No.
At the TV deal, I mean, yeah, clubs can make their own TV deals with their local stations. We've got one, obviously, with CBS Detroit, WKBD, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as the national thing goes, none of that money goes to the clubs.
Yeah.
There's not that type of revenue sharing like you have in the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball.
Or hockey.
Yeah. Where that TV contract is translated over to that. Now it may change in the next few years with the ambitions of pro rel and all whatnot. So that's that's one thing. Name, image, and likeness is a huge thing, especially when you're talking about a little over 200 to 300 players in the league.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That means a lot, and to filter it down so that they can have their image, they can get a stipend of having their image shown on USL promotions or club promotions or say like an eFootball promotion. That's pretty significant.
I know,
and this is the way of the world nowadays. Name, image, and likeness. All right.
The college players set the bar. The college players who set the bar after the Supreme Court hearing ruled that the NCAA is not sharing name, image, and likeness. They set the bar, literally.
Yep, literally set the bar. So, all right, getting to the tail end of this thing. It's been a like I said, the last hour has just been fun.
I know. Well, Canary has been quiet considering we covered the female game on Saturday night, and they're going to have another female game. They're going to be in Columbus, Ohio, facing on Columbus on Saturday night. and by the way, check their club to make sure the game is streaming either on YouTube.
Yeah,
or...
I mean, we'll be on it as well. We'll be on it as well. If we find out that there is a stream for that match, we will share it with you. And of course, obviously, go to maslw.com for the latest in stats and statistics and all, or stats and standings and all that fun stuff over there, as well as Detroit City FC.
Yeah,
we're
not
back
going
at the clubhouse February 7th.
Yeah, February 7th. We're not going to be there in another month, so.
Yep. So follow that. We'll take a look at that game on next Wednesday's edition of the Musings. We'll talk about that as well.
And I have to write a lot of notes for the upcoming week in soccer. You never know what's going to happen, considering we had a plan to talk about what happened in Europe and Scotland and all that, but then Monday changed everything.
This whole, like I said, it's been a whirlwind week of stuff in the soccer world, and we're trying to do our best to give it to you every single week.
Best we could.
Yes. So I'm glad the Musings are back.
Thank you very much after that long Haley break, except for 2 episodes. One we recorded at Harry's and one we did with the airing the grievances. So yes, we're back because we're on the on-ramp to the 2026 season, the last season at Keyworth Stadium.
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. For Steve over in Hamtramck.
Happy New Year. I hope everything's safe and we're on the road to Keyworth, the last season. And that I have it. Good night.
All right. And here at the Hacienda, it's Mad Cat saying, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the galaxy.